Welcome to Beyond the Code, the podcast where industry experts and brilliant legal minds discuss the impact of new emerging technologies.
Oh, and a 1, a 2, 3. We are here at Consensus Miami, and I am joined by one of the legends of Web3 law. You don't even have to know his real name. People just call him Birdnals. I don't even know what that means. I guess to tell us what it means. But Jonathan Schmalfeld, until recently of Polsinelli, and now of the Digital Chamber.
Yep, Digital
Chamber. They provide mean towels after a run. But very, very excited to have you here on Beyond the Code, Jonathan. Tell us who you are, but not like what you do. Okay. We'll get to what you do in a minute. But like, I don't know if you've ever listened to the podcast. I've been doing this for 3 years now. I've had like founders from all over the industry and legal professionals. I like to go very deep. Okay.
Perfect.
So like, where'd you grow up? What are your hobbies? How'd you get into crypto? How'd you get into law? And then obviously what you're doing now, but
awesome.
Save it for later.
Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure hanging out. You go back to like I think we were talking about before this, like 2020-ish.
Yeah.
It's probably when we first met. So yeah, Jonathan Schmalfeld. I am an attorney. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. That's actually why Birdnals was the username.
Okay.
St. Louis Cardinals. We're also called the Birds, and then Birdnals, Cardinals.
Is that like if you're a Cardinals fan, like you know that it's Birdnals?
Okay. Kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm sorry that I just showed how
no, not at all.
Not in tune with
St. Louis
baseball.
Yeah, how dare you?
Shame on me.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. So born and raised in St. Louis. Spent a little time in Chicago between undergrad and law school, but then came right back to St. Louis for law school. I went to WashU. It's awesome. I love the campus, love the area. And then went to practicing law right from that. I actually started my career doing soft IP litigation.
Okay. Was soft IP?
Not patent.
Okay.
So,
like trademarks?
Trademark, trade secrets, copyright.
Okay. Is that an industry term that I'm not familiar with? Soft IP?
Soft IP, because patent has like...
Patent, you need the sciences background.
You don't need a science background. You can do it without it. But there is a process within a patent litigation hearing called a Markman hearing.
Okay.
Which is like a hearing where you're deciding what these words in the patent means. And you argue for years over the meaning of the, or it's, or fast, or these things. It's like, I did one of those. I'm like, not for me.
Okay.
But when I graduated law school, Defend Trade Secret Act in the United States had just come out. So it created this federal framework for protecting trade secrets. So it was great because as a junior attorney, there wasn't like this plethora of case law from going back 100 years, like property litigation or something else like that, real estate litigation. Yeah. You got to do what a mentor of mine called earning your bar card, which is you're not just copying and pasting arguments. You're not doing you're doing something original,
meaningful work,
like original stuff. You can make these policy arguments. You can do these things that like takes real brain power. It's not just taking someone else's work, changing it up a little bit, and then putting it up as your own. So I love that aspect of the
so
work.
Rare in law.
Exactly. So. But that's why I didn't really get involved in. I was buying and selling crypto back in like 2015 or so, but wasn't really practicing in there because there's only securities law at that point, kind of thing. But I like the idea of these are like new applications of these laws to these new asset class and things. So then when NFTs came along, I had a copyright, I had a trademark background, I had consumer protection background.
NFTs were like the coolest thing to happen to IP law.
It was great.
And then AI.
It was great. I'm still a believer. I still think that there is a good use of being able to own the digital goods that you buy, whether it's like a Kindle or an Amazon movie or things like that. The better way to do that is through NFTs, through digital assets that you can actually transfer when you're done with them. Haven't hit there yet. I don't think the market's quite there yet where people are demanding that.
No, but the technology is exciting. I always say like NFTs, they had their hype and their craze and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
A lot of money came in and out of the market very quickly. But I think one of the lasting things that we will hopefully continue to see after people like wipe off their, overcome their wounds is the communities that were formed around these things.
Yes.
And also the creative IP that was
100%.
forged, and like the creative way of looking at IP,
Mhm.
and obviously just in terms of like all the kind of fractional ownership and stuff like that. Like the technology was exciting. Unfortunately, the hype.
It exceeded it, but that's
Yeah.
how everything does. The
Yeah.
dotcom happened the same thing. Like all these things happen where there's all this excitement. The idea is there. Maybe it's overhyped based on how many people actually consumers are willing to buy and purchase these things. And maybe the technology is a little bit too daunting for the average person to come along at that stage. But as you abstract away some of that scary part, as you make it more acceptable within to use your wallet to access something in the same way to use like your ticket app or something like that. Like you can, as it's become more acceptable and it's more common, I think people are going to be able, and having like big boy institutions that are able to like really roll these things out. We saw companies try it, like Nike tried a little bit, Adidas tried a little bit. Again, I think they were just ahead of their time.
They got burned too quickly,
Yeah,
and they're like, I'm not touching this in 10-foot pole now.
But I think that when you do have like a Ticketmaster, or when you do have whoever it is that already has the distribution that can make it abstract away all the scary parts, but then keep all that back end, that tech on the back end,
Yeah.
that is better for transferring these items. I think the possibilities there. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. So, the amazing thing about you, and not just you, but I mean other like Web3 lawyers like you, and I think one of the cool things of NFTs and crypto in general was I got to meet this whole other side of lawyers. A lot of lawyers are generally not unfriendly, I would say,
yeah,
but they're very possessive over their information.
They're competing over jobs and clients and things like that.
But in Web3, I guess because a lot of it was evolving and innovative, there was a lot of sharing happening, and some of these really cool Web3 communities were forged and continue to forge. And guys like you and others that we met here today, you were doing your like real job with your suit and tie and like just like grinding on the side. Like for me, like I love my work, but it was always like I'm doing it for the money, and I'm also having fun at the same time.
Yeah.
And you were like doing something else for money and just having fun doing this. So like it's amazing to me that you were so dedicated to the cause in a way. And I was actually discussing this with my partner this morning. And he's like, for you as like a religious Jew, you got like the synagogue and all that. That gives you that like community or whatever.
Yeah.
But like a lot of other people are looking for that, and they found it in Web3.
100%.
And so I guess I'm fortunate that I have both.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool that you were so invested in the community, in the tech, and really like because of people like you, we have what we have today.
Yeah. And I think it's because especially in the tracks of law area, and you make a great point when it comes to just like general community building and general like the discords and like all these things where you do really forge true friendships, people that you would never actually have met before or had interaction with. But specifically in law, there's only so many people that understand the technology to a level that you need to for your clients, where you can't, like I was at a big firm and there was lots of things we could do in-house at a big firm, but there's lots of things that I just wouldn't send within that same firm because there's more important for someone to know the tech than for them to know like this minutia area. Like I needed someone that knew both the area of law that the client needed that I couldn't provide, but also understood the tech, because how much of it is really focused on like you have to be able to understand like how smart contracts work, how like trustless systems work.
You can't just be a good lawyer, because you don't even know what you have to be good at if you don't understand the products at like a very deep level. So I think that was, I mean, I guess that's kind of what made us the firm that we are. Like we get very into the weeds of the product, and then everything else kind of comes from that. Like the first thing I do with any client is like, okay, give me, I want full access to the system. I want access to the beta. I want this. I want to go through the flow. I want to understand it in a deep level. I want to know what happens behind it. I want to work with your R&D team. 100%. And then we could talk about like what the legal implications are.
When you're not just talking to the legal teams, you're also talking to engineers, you're talking to founders, you're having those conversations and not being afraid to look dumb too, being like, hey, I don't get this. This is an area, like I've done a million things, and being able to understand yourself well enough to know like, it's not a stupid question, because if I don't know this, then 99.9% of people probably also don't know it, and I need to know it for my job, and maybe they just haven't explained it enough. And that's why there's a gap. So.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about today's sponsor.
First Read is an AI tool built specifically for lawyers. I've been using it at my firm for over a year now, and I honestly can't imagine my practice without it. I use it as a companion throughout my whole workflow. It runs the first read, literally, of any legal document I'm reviewing. It helps me draft from scratch, and when I'm in a deep, complex piece, I could literally just talk to it. For a commercial lawyer, that's invaluable. But here's what really made me want to work with them. They're a small startup and they care, like really care. If you have an issue, you can get the founder himself in your DMs and he fixes it in minutes. Oh, and the pricing, way more accessible than their competitors. If you want to give it a whirl, head over to firstread.com/sign up and make sure to use BYND, the code 10 at checkout for an additional 10% off. If you do try it, please reach out to me and tell me what you think. I genuinely love to hear your experience.
And not to be scared to say, like, maybe there's not an answer.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to figure out an answer together.
Yep.
Okay, so you did the legal thing, DJing on the side.
Yep.
And at what point did you say, okay, I want to go all in on crypto policy and like just do what I love? Like,
yeah. So I got really
before that, what was your what kind of challenges? Because I know you mentioned to me, were you facing at work when you tried to kind of merge the two worlds together? Where you're like, okay, I like I have passion here, and I'm doing my work here. I want to bring my passion into my work.
I think it was always like a good, actually. So I have nothing but good things to say about Polsinelli, and the partners I work with over there were super supportive. They always had that. You have to understand that at a big firm, you have like so much of your day comes down to billable hours. So you still have to eat your billable hours. You have to do things. And at the firm I was at, our rates were priced out of lots of things that would otherwise be clients. Lots of startup companies that just I couldn't pay my rates or the rates of the partners that would have to oversee some of these things. But they were always super supportive of like that process. They actually, the first thing I did with Digital Chamber was an amicus in the Hermes Rothschild case. And I brought like the now CEO, Cody, when he was in my role as a policy director, came to me, had read my blog, and just was like, hey, I know you know IP law, I know you know crypto. Would you be interested in doing an amicus on behalf of the Digital Chamber? And I'm like, 100%, I'd love to do that. I have to go back to the partners and make sure that that's okay with them. They were instantly supportive of it. I got to do that. I got to be, as an associate, being the first name on a Second Circuit amicus is like unheard of at a big law firm. You always put the partner's name first. You always do that. They were like, no, this was your baby. You did all of it. We oversaw and we helped, but that was just you. So like that kind of support was
that's
awesome.
amazing.
I had that there. But eventually it became a point where so much of my day-to-day, it was just, I needed to do more in the digital asset space. I needed like what I really enjoyed was there. And it's just super hard to be big law and also do that on the side. But luckily, Digital Chamber was looking for a policy director. And it's exactly what I love to. It was what I was doing in my free time for fun. And
now you get to do that for work.
Do it for work kind of thing. So I get to advocate for, I get to organize the amicus. I get to write the request for advanced notice of rulemaking, do those responses, do the rulemaking implementation.
It's amazing.
So I still get to use my lawyer brand and my lawyer like skills, but I get to use it in a way that I don't even need technically a bar card to do what I'm doing. It's helpful.
Yeah.
But it's more just like, again, understanding the companies, understanding where their difficulties are coming from, and finding ways to explain that to regulators or members of Congress or others to actually to remove the impediments that are not there for like true like safety and soundness or other reasons. They're just there because the legacy system that needs to be updated.
Yeah.
So,
wow, that's so much fun. Like,
I have a great time.
I'm not gonna say I'm jealous because I actually like what I do, but like I'm so happy for you that you found something that you're passionate about, that you enjoy, and it's also doing so much good for our industry.
Yeah, that's the thing where it's like, I think this might be the only job that's more work than big law, maybe, but it's all stuff that's like super interesting and super fun. And I get to see like in effect, like here was the rulemaking that got put into place that because of me, there's now 100 now startups that can do a business, that can actually do the business because of this thing I did. Yeah, exactly. So seeing that in action is just like, crazy like helpful.
Okay, so people who are listening who want to get more involved in the chamber and want to be in touch with you, like what's the best way to do that?
So as you said, Birdnals Law on Twitter is there. My name's Jonathan Schmalfeld. You can look up Digital Chamber. You can reach out to me via email. My email's all listed on there. And yeah, we're always looking for either member companies or law firms that want to get involved or elsewhere. Anybody that's looking for whether it's connecting with other builders in the space or you have a policy need, let me know. I'm always happy to connect. And if we can't help you, at least we know the people that could help you as well. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us and good luck saving the world, man.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.